Well, I'm not doing an activation at all today for a change. We're going to try something completely different. I'm in Wellington and I'm here for work for a few days, and I'm just in a hotel close to the city centre, and I wanted to see whether I could actually operate from the hotel. Now there's a couple of ways that you can do this, and I've tried a couple of ways in the past, and we might do a different one tomorrow. But today I've decided to try and use software to connect to the transceiver I have at home. Now, the software I'm using at home is wfview. Now, wfview is designed to allow you to operate mainly Icom radios, but also Kenwood radios now remotely, or if you wanted to have your radio be controlled by your computer at home and on a big screen, it's great for that. The way I'm going to use it today, or going to try and use it today, is to use it remotely. So at home, I've got a Raspberry Pi. The Raspberry Pi is a little small single chip computer, really, and I've connected that to an IC7300 that's there, and the Raspberry Pi is running wfview, and I've got wfview on my laptop here, and we're going to try and connect back to the Raspberry Pi at home, and then get the audio coming through to the radio. Then, and this will be a super big challenge, we'll try and transmit. So I don't know. First time I've tried this, might be a disaster recording it. The other thing I've done, which we'll have to talk about in a bit more detail perhaps later on, is that often when you're doing remote control of radios, you need to do port forwarding. So port forwarding is a way that you configure your router to allow software to access either the radio directly, if you've got something like a 7610 or some other radio which has got a network interface, or allow you to connect to a computer to allow you to control the radio. Now that's okay, but with the prevalence now of things like CGNAT and just the sort of hassle of the sorts of ports you have to have open, I kind of wasn't in favor of that. So I've opted for to use a VPN, and the VPN I'm using is tailscale. So tailscale is a pretty popular VPN. The nice thing about it is I don't need to open any ports anywhere. And I thought, what better way to test this than to test the connection from a hotel, because it's a realistic connection anyway, isn't it? So what I'm going to do, and probably capturing this on the screen might be a challenge, but anyway, so this is the laptop, just a affordable Dell, and I'm going to run the wfview software, hopefully. And so it's connected to the radio the Raspberry Pi at home, which is connected to the radio. So this is a conversation that's happening on 20 meters. Now the audio, I must say, from the laptop is far from perfect, but it's an indication. Now you'll see down the bottom here, which will be hard to see, but this gives us an idea of the latency. So one thing that I'm unsure about, which will be an issue, or potentially an issue, is latency. If we get too high a latency, we're going to get sort of broken up audio, both on receive audio, but also on transmitted audio. So that's our challenge. So the interface is quite straightforward. You've got your waterfall here. You've got frequency here. Oh, look, we've lost audio completely. 191 millisecond. Oh, this might be the end of the experiment in one go. Oh, dear. Connections failed. Oh, okay. So up the top here, we saw the Wi-Fi drop out. This is the joy of hotel. Okay, let's close that again. Now that Wi-Fi has come back. Let's say yes. Let's run that again. Yeah, so losing control of the radio wouldn't be a great start. So the latency or poor network connections could be a problem. Anyway, look, you've got like frequency control here. Got signal strength here. This is going to show me the SWR. This is the audio I've got coming in. I can adjust the power. Here I've got it set for about 10 watts, and I've got a tuner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change bands to 40 meters. 40 meters. Close it. This is 40 meters. 7086. We'll pick a spot here. 7112. Doesn't look like there's any activity. And we'll tune. So that's tuned. So I guess we've demonstrated that we can get audio back. That's good. Now the trick will be, can we get a signal out? Now a couple of things I just want to sort out before we test that. So let me just pause this for now, and we'll come back in a sec. Okay, so I've made a slight change. I'm going to I tried it just because, I mean, you don't try these you don't just record these things and necessarily hope for the best. Tried it on 40 meters. I can hear myself. It's pretty faint. What I'm going to do is I'm going to test it on 80 meters. Now, the antenna at home is actually a bit crap when it comes to 80 meters, so it's not the best. But I can do this on relatively low power and at least get I think a reasonable result. So what I'm going to do is what I've got here is I've just got plugged in a headset. It's just got a mic, just plugs into the side of the laptop there, and so to transmit, all I need to do is to push the transmit button, which is this button here. Just hit it with the mouse. Now what I'll do in order for you to actually see what's going on is if I show you this here. Let's move this now. Yeah, so I've set this to 3695, which is the frequency that I'm on, and what I'll do is I'll transmit. You should be able to see it come up here. So you'll get a funny audio effect in that you'll get me speaking, and then you'll probably hear later the audio being captured by, this is a Kiwi SDR. So let's give this a shot. 02 November Echo Bravo testing. Well, perhaps it's not going to work. Z02 November Echo Bravo testing. Oh, well, okay. So here's a key thing. If you mistakenly change the frequency, you're not going to get what you want. So let's. I'm on 3695. 3695. Two 695. Good luck. Good luck. 02 November Echo Bravo testing. 02 November Echo Bravo testing. 02 November Echo Bravo testing. 1 2 3. Echo Bravo testing. 1 2 3. So that actually works remarkably well. I mean, I'm actually quite impressed. So the challenge now is to do a QSO with someone. So I'm going to see if I can find someone for a QSO. But what I'll just show you now what I have to do at this end. So I'll put this back on. Well, kind of put this back on. This is where you need a camera crew. So to transmit, I'm just going to hit this button here. Z02 November Echo Bravo testing. Pretty straightforward, isn't it, really? might actually work. Right, let me see if I can find a friend. Or the other thing we could try is the I think branch 22's got their net on tonight, so that's a little bit later on to maybe almost an hour away. We might try that. So I'm kind of excited. So if we think about this, we're sending the audio remotely through a VPN to control access and to simplify our connection to the remote station, and then transmitting and receiving through that. When I get back to Blenheim, I'll show you what I've got at that end. But for now, it seems to be working okay. Right, let me make a few calls, see if I can find someone to talk to for real. Okay, so far I've been thwarted with trying to find contacts, anyone around anyway, local to talk to. So what I'm going to do is that the club net is on in 5 minutes, hopefully. I might give that a go. Now, what I have noticed is that I've lost the connection a couple of times, and the problem is seems to be the Wi-Fi in the hotel. So I see that the Wi-Fi connection drops out altogether. So that's not ideal. We've got no control over that. It's the luck of the draw. I think, like, I'm on the 7th floor. All of the at the end of the hallway. So I suspect that probably the internet access points are probably central to where the lift is, because that's usually where they put them. So probably not doing myself a lot of favours with this room they've given me. So anyway, right. So I'll see if we can join the net. Now, this might not work so well in terms of filming. I'm sorry about that. What I thought I'd do was give you guys the view of the or try and give you the view of the SDR. That way you can kind of see, I guess, what's going on. So 3 minutes to go. I'll be back in a sec. ZL3DN, ZL2 November Echo Bravo. How are you doing, over? ZL2 November Echo Bravo. Good evening, Don and John. Okay, so the problem is our mic icon has gone off this thing altogether. If I unplug this, plug it back in, say headset. Oh dear, this is hardly ideal, is it? Right, come back to life. Okay. Now we might be in business. So back over here, refresh that. ZL2 November Echo Bravo testing. Right, so we've got audio back. Let's go back to 3876. ZL2 November Echo Bravo. Oh, look, I've been trying for a while. I'm testing the remote control of the station, and it's been suboptimal, I'll say that, John.
Just before you vanish,
Yeah, thanks. Look, I'm actually in a hotel in Wellington, and I am trying to remote control my station at home using wfview. So this is kind of the first attempt of doing it, and using a thing called tailscale to create the VPN connection between. So I was just wondering what the audio is like from your perspective, over. Oh, I guess then it's the same as me being there. This works quite well, and the nice thing about it is you don't need a static IP, and you don't need to do any port forwarding at all. So maybe I should do a talk on that one night. But the only thing is you do need internet that's, I guess, relatively reliable, and I've had a couple of dropouts here in this hotel. Over. Yeah, I know. I realise that. Look, I'll see you guys again on Thursday. See ya. Right, so that took longer than I thought. Oh, a lot of mucking around. So let's turn that off. So I guess essentially our the test has been successful. I've been able to make a QSO. They say the audio is fine, which is what you'd expect, because I am really just talking to them from down the road in Blenheim, so not a long way to go. But I was pleased how well that worked once the internet got a bit stabilised here. I lost the mic a couple of times. That seemed to happen. It dropped out. I don't know whether that's instability with the program or the fact that when the network went down, it upset the program, and then when I restarted it came back. But either way, look, I think it's a viable viable thing to consider, and I'll do some more testing with it. So that's encouraging. Okay, so an option if you're wanting to control something remotely, wfview. I'll do a little bit of a cover over what I've got at the server end when I get back. So we'll add that in at the end of this. But yeah. Anyway, if I forget to do that, which is always possible, have a good rest of your week. See ya. Okay, so back home now. I said I'd go over the setup that we have at the server end, the home end of the station that we were, the remote control software that we set up. So what I've got here, obviously, so power supply for the radio, the radio itself, and I'm using a Raspberry Pi 400. Now, I quite like the 400s, I guess mainly because the built-in keyboard is quite a nice form factor. Whenever I need to use a normal Raspberry Pi, I'm always having to find a keyboard anyway, and so having it like this is quite a compact way of doing it. So the connections to the radio, really, apart from power and antenna, is a USB cable that's just running into the back of the Pi 400. I'm running the Pi 400 off a SSD drive. But you can, of course, use the normal SD card within the Pi. I've got some other software I've been working on as well, so that's why I'm doing that. And the monitor now. So what we're running on here is just exactly the same software. So this is wfview. At the moment, it's disconnected from the radio. It's connected to the radio, but the radio is actually powered off. So we can power on the radio from here, and you'll see it burst into life. And then this software is running in server mode. So if we go to settings, and we go to radio server. Actually, let's just disconnect from the radio for now. You can see that the radio server is enabled. These are the ports that are used. Not that it really matters to us because we're using tailscale and we don't really need to worry about any port forwarding stuff. If we were doing this externally, we'd need to forward these ports through for a user setup. And so because this is in server mode, when I was with the laptop, what I'm really doing is connecting to that server component that's running on this Raspberry Pi 400. And then that in turn is connected to the radio, and that's how the audio and the control is coming through. So it actually worked really well once I sorted out a couple of things with the mic levels and the headphone unit I was using. So quite a good option. Now, ideally, in a perfect world, I'd have some other better remote location to have this set up, but there's not a lot involved. And the nice thing about it, I guess, is that wfview is available for on Windows or on Linux or on Mac, and so really any sort of PC or any other device in the Pi is a good option because it's got low power requirements. To be able to run that component on there is super handy. So it's worked well. I'll use it a bit more experimentation with it. Maybe try accessing it from some different locations, or maybe try and move the radio itself and the Pi somewhere else. Obviously, you do need internet to get to it remotely, but certainly with things like 4G, and I was talking to some other people that were using 4G type connections, that they have found that quite successful. So there you go. The background of what was at this end of the operation. You take care. See ya.